What did I learn yesterday, September 8th? What I learned was that coral, like coral reef, is categorized as an animal, not as a plant, because apparently to categorize something as a plant in the context of what separates animals from plants, a plant makes its own food. Coral does not make its own food. It's a whole bunch of millions of little organisms or whatever, or thousands or hundreds of organisms that are all individual and separate that make up this structure of coral. And they have to eat stuff, but they don't make their own food like plants do through like photosynthesis and whatever else magical stuff they do. So that's what I learned yesterday. What did I learn yesterday? I keep forgetting, or I'm in states where I don't, yeah, feel like I can confidently make the video real quick. Anyway, so what did I learn yesterday? First of all, what was the date yesterday? September 9th. Yesterday was September 9th. And what I learned was that I can teleport. I don't want to go through the whole thing because I've talked about time travel before in the way of specifically cannabis use, that for me, time slows down when I have been highly affected by cannabis. And if perception is reality, then that is my justification for the existence of time travel. Of that, time has slowed down for me because my perception of it has slowed down. Everything seems slower, therefore it is. But yesterday, I was gone. I was just under the influence of cannabis to a degree that I have never been before, I feel. And I was so in the present that I didn't know I was doing things until I was doing them. There was no filter of thought or idea at all. So I was sitting down, and the next second I was in the kitchen standing up. Like I was sitting down at the dining room table, the next second I was in the kitchen standing up, and I realized this happened multiple times. And I was like, okay, this is what teleporting is. So I was just like, if you have the absence, with the absence of thought to do a thing, you literally aren't spending the time doing the thinking, you are just doing. And because there's that absence of time, that's why I said literally, like there's literal time missing that you don't use. Whereas in a regular state, I am thinking about my actions generally before I'm doing them. Like I am doing this, and like 1 millisecond before doing it, I'm thinking about it in a way. Like it's also very natural when I talk, but I can think about putting my hand down and not speaking. Or not speaking with my hands. So without that thought at all, without even that millisecond of predetermined thought, that's gone. That's not there. So it's like, okay, I didn't think about walking over here. I just walked over here. Add to that, I don't remember walking over here. I am so in the present right now that I didn't even think about walking over here. Therefore, I'm like, okay, I feel like I just teleported. And then again, it becomes this thing of perception is reality, which obviously that's not true when it becomes, I don't know, I don't want to get into that. That's a whole other discussion. I have a whole video on perception as reality as a conversation. You can go look that up. It's quite old, but it rings true, I feel. So anyway, that's how to teleport. If you were wondering how to time travel, I feel like teleportation is just another method of time travel anyway, right? So now you know. That's what I learned yesterday. I learned how to teleport, which I would not advise. It's pretty scary. What did I learn today? I learned that intuition is really complicated for me specifically because of anxiety. My anxiety, the way that it manifests and the way that I cope with it, is really difficult for me to trust my heart or my mind, which is something I've known for a long time, but I didn't really relate that to something such as intuition and how I don't use mine really because it gets really complex and spirals when I start to think of like, oh, I had a good feeling or I had a bad feeling. Why would I listen to that? I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And that feeling, does that mean anything? I don't know. And then I start to use logic instead of emotion. It's a mess. So I learned that intuition is really complex for me and that I need to develop a better intuition about when to use my intuition. September 11th. What did I learn today? I learned that I have more work ethic, at least in the realm of basketball, which hopefully will translate to other areas of my life. I realized that I have more work ethic right now than I did 20 years ago. I played basketball from grade 7 to 12, just like all throughout high school. So 20 years ago, I was 17, and that was like the height of like grade 12 stuff, was like the height of my basketball times. And yeah, I realized that this morning I got up. I did not have a good sleep. I made a new plan, and with that plan, I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. But I woke up at 4. I went to bed late. I went to bed like at 10:40, and then I'll let you do the math. I went to bed at 10:40, and which was too late, and then I woke up at 4 in the morning, and I couldn't fall back asleep probably until close to 5:15 or something. And then I woke up at 5:30, and I got up and I went and I played basketball for 45 minutes, and it was the best. And I just recognized today the confidence that I had, and I had built enough momentum over the past like 2 months that there's just more confidence in my ball handling and other stuff, and just like even shooting or whatever. And with that confidence came more accuracy and whatever else, but it just like felt really good. And the work ethic that I had for that 45 minutes today, I think far surpassed any other time I'd been at practice at all, or in a game or whatever. Maybe not in a game, that's different, but like yeah, that's very different. In practice ever during high school, it was just like way different. And it's really interesting just to like unlock that, just to be like, I unlocked this thing and there's no reason why it should ever go backward. So I'm hoping that it doesn't. I'm in control of that. I don't want to say I'm hoping that it does. I'm in control of that. I can choose. That's part of what that's another thing that I was learning today, was that like, this is something I have control of, and maybe that's why it feels good. I also have control of, I could eat junk food every day, all day. I have control of that. That doesn't feel good. I have control of this, and I'm making a conscious choice and putting in effort and work, and it feels good, and the results are immediate. What I learned this week, what I learned today, is that I don't want to pressure myself. This is that thing, having like a daily thing. Like, it was nice in practice, especially when I was being asked, and now I've taken it upon myself to ask myself. And like, there was a part of me that was thinking, like, is this taking away from the vlog, and I can just be discussing this stuff in the vlog? I like having, I don't want to say pressure, I like having a certain amount of responsibility, or I guess it's pressure, to like think about these things and be like, what did I learn today? And sometimes I learn something in the morning, so I just talk about it right away. But I learned, like, if I compare this to my art goals list, like, I have so many ideas all the time, and there's some things that got left behind, and it's not that I never want to do them, and I want to return to some of them, and sometimes it's the right time, and sometimes it's not. But even in that span of a year, I might not return to some of those things at all, or ever. So even with my art goals thing, I learned, like, hey, it's there, and I have it, and I can reference it, but I don't want it to pressure me and make me feel anxious. And I think the what have I learned today thing, I just realized today, like, it just started to make me feel anxious, because, like, oh, I didn't do anything yesterday, oh no. And then I had something, and I forgot it, because I didn't write it down. I don't know if I was playing basketball this morning, or what I was doing, and I was like, yeah, that's totally what I just learned. Like, I just learned this thing, and I forgot, and then I, like, felt anxious about it. So, as for now, I would still like to continue doing this on a weekly basis, and I'm sure that I will be able to do a couple times, but I'm not going to expect it from myself to do it every single day. I have a reminder, even like on my whiteboard, And it just becomes this thing of like this. I think it would be a good practice, and I might learn to do it every day and be chill about it. But what I learned today is that I can't have that be a source of anxiety, because if that's just me, like I am putting that on myself, and I've got enough people putting it on me that I don't need to put it on myself.